Describe these people in one word.
One word.
One word.
Can it be an expletive?
It can be anything you want. Brian Clough.
I mean,
one word.
God.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. that's gonna crop up. I think all these interviews. That's gonna.
You can't say legend because legend's overused. People think presenters on TalkSport use that every morning. You know, but he's beyond a legend.
Yeah,
it has to be.
Yeah. Okay. Robbie Savage.
Hypocrite.
Right. Okay. Why? So?
I mean, there was a famous game. So there was an FA Cup game where Derby were miles behind in the game, came back to win at the City Ground, and fair enough, I suppose. But he got his scarf round his arm and he was giving it all this in front of the Forest fans. Okay, mate, you've won a derby, fine, whatever. The following season, we beat them. Nathan Tyson.
Next on my list. I saw a documentary about this the other day. But
I think he ripped out the corner flag, was it? You've probably seen this more recently than I have. Rips out the corner flag, waves it in front of the whole ground. Now, he said, he was going for the Forest fans who were in the upper tier. He was clearly waving it in front of the Derby fans. Savage erupts about this. Now, I can understand why you get annoyed in the heat of the moment that somebody's winding up your fans, but he was on the radio. The guy should be ashamed of himself and this, that and the other. And I thought, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. What have you, who are you to tell anybody about their behaviour on a football pitch, given the despicable things that you used to get up to? And so, hypocrite.
Okay, fair enough. So, if I say Tyson, then what would you say?
Tyson, limited.
I see that. Gary Megson.
Useless.
Right. Billy Davies.
Difficult to answer, but difficult because he made us into a really effective championship side, certainly first time round, but he could fall out with himself in a phone box. He's one of those people that, as a journalist, I would absolutely love to interview him. And I know I shouldn't want to because he's awful to journalists, and we've all heard, as we've all heard, although he says it's a whispering campaign against him. But because I don't understand what makes the man tick. I just don't understand him because when he came back to us the second time, he went out to settle old scores.
Yeah.
The innocent will not be harmed, said his press spokesman in a tweet. And vengeance is a dish best served cold. And you just thought, what are you talking about? You're a football manager.
Not really the sort of rational mind, that is it?
No, I do worry. I find him a fascinating person.
Yeah.
I shouldn't, but strange man.
Stan Collymore.
Talented.
I wonder whether you were going to say unfulfilled.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess at Forest, he was always going to have to leave us to go on.
He's my favourite Forest player ever.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably he's the most talented player I've seen play for Forest. He's not my favourite Forest player. He's the most talented player though, because he could win a game on his own. He was explosive. He was quick. He was dynamic. He had a great shot on him, and I'm sure he's a pain in the backside to manage. But as all sort of great mercurial talents are, but what a player, And I went to a game. I think it was Bristol City away, and couldn't sit in the away end, so he sat with the home fans. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if he was taken off towards the end or one of those kind of things, but there were people around me gave him a standing ovation, and they were almost like, I think they realised we were Forest fans, almost like shaking our hands, saying, that's what entertainment that was, and you don't get that. I mean, it's just kind of, and so I'll always have a soft spot for Stan for that. And it went a bit sour when he left, I have to say. I think he clearly wanted to go, but I suppose in the cold light of day you can't stand in the way of a player. And as you say, though, he is unfulfilled because he should have gone on and he should have played for England for loads of times. He was a fantastic player.
Still fondly remembered overall. Okay, you got him on your back. Andy Reid. Magician. I love Andy Reid. I mean, a lot of people say that weight might have been an issue for him. Let's say. I mean, I'm not one to. I was going to say it comes
to aspersions on anybody's weight, but frankly, he was just a great little player when he first came through. Just a real ray of light. And people forget that when he came through for us, it was a period where we were in trouble financially. We were losing £100,000 a week. The entire squad was on the transfer market, and we were in trouble. And Reed was part of that crop of young players under Paul Hart who really came to the fore and I think he might have made his debut under Platt actually, but yeah, he was a fantastic player for us, really talented, great left foot, skillful, came back to us at the end of his career as well, and was, it's a shame that it petered out because he got injured and could never come back. But yeah, great player.
Chris Commons.
Forest fans would say Judas. I mean, I've kind of given up on Chris Commons, getting annoyed with Chris Commons. He was another one who tried to wind us up when he went to Derby, but Chris Commons, overrated. By him, if nobody else.
Nigel Clough. Is he ever going to manage Forest?
Probably. I mean, Nigel Clough, I love him. And I think, for a while I was a little bit worried about Nigel Clough, because Nigel Clough has scored more than 100 goals for Forest. I think he's the second top scorer of all time for Forest.
Is that right?
Potentially third, but he's certainly up there. If his dad were not Brian Clough and he had just been a player for us and scored that many goals, he'd be a legend. So it's nothing to do with the fact that who his dad is. In fact, that makes it even better that he's sort of overcome that.
Can't imagine a tougher gig to follow than that. Really.
Exactly, yeah. And he was a great player for us, a really, really great player. And I think I'm worried that some of the newer generation of Forest fans only know him as that guy who managed Derby. And the Derby games between us and Derby when he was manager of Derby were nasty. Really, really nasty. And I think some Forest fans felt that maybe Nigel was taking something out on the club, or maybe was, I don't know. I think some Forest fans were a little bit annoyed with him about that period. It's probably because Billy Davis was the Forest manager, and it's probably quite easy to fall out. It's quite easy to fall out with Billy Davis. I don't know, maybe that's harsh on them both. He was just passionate manager. I mean, I wouldn't be averse to seeing him at Forest, but I do. It's difficult baggage. I asked somebody a while ago if his name was like David Smith and he was the Burton manager, would he even be in the running for the Forest job? Now, there's one argument that says no, of course he wouldn't, because we'd be looking at people higher up than that.
Right.
But then there are other people who say, well, actually, yeah, because a manager to have done what he's done with Burton is an incredible job.
And a young up-and-coming manager,
and with connections to the club, and he's got connections to the kind of hierarchy of the club and that kind of stuff. So he seems to have found his peace with the club now, and he's spoken a lot more favourably about his love for Forest since he's left Derby, which obviously you can't do when you're the Derby manager. So I'd like to think now that we've reconciled it. We see him as the club legend that he deserves to be seen as. Whether coming as manager might again muddy those waters, I don't know. We've been down that road with Stuart Pearce. I'd be really torn, because if he came as manager and people would start slagging him off, like some people slagged off Pearce when he was manager, it would annoy me, because the guy deserves respect. He's an absolute Forest legend.
So what was the word?
Underappreciated is probably not fair, so I'm gonna say I can't say number 9, can I? Because that's what Clough used to call him. I'm gonna say style, stylish.
Could you imagine supporting Man United or Real Madrid?
No, not really. I mean, my uncle is a season ticket holder at Man United. I mean, my granddad was born in Manchester, so he's not, one of those. But and I sometimes talk to him about football. Well, I often talk to him about football and try and I'm almost, while I'm hearing him talk, I'm trying to hear what would it be if I sort of said we're thinking that. I just can't imagine it. I think every draw would feel like a defeat. Every kind of minor 1-0 regulation home win against Stoke would feel like a defeat. I mean, I don't know what joy you get from that. Obviously you do. You get joy from winning trophies, from seeing amazing players. It's all in context, isn't it? I think I once heard somebody say that you adjust your misery up and down. I think you get that with, like, Charlton fans had it, Stoke fans have got it now, where for ages that all they would have said is we just want to be in the top flight, When they get there, after they've been there a while, it's oh, now we're rubbish in the top 5.
And it's going to happen. Yeah, it'll happen if they stay there long enough. I mean, Bournemouth are on the cusp of that maybe, and it'll happen to Brighton and Huddersfield if they stay.
It will, because they're not. None of those clubs are ever going to be big enough to be guaranteed.
But they're of the hatred of their situation at a higher.
Yeah, but even then, like, when we were first watching football. Well, okay, there was that season when Arsenal won the league in 89, 90, whatever it was. But like early to sort of mid 90s, they weren't great. Well, they're probably where they are now.
No, they've got Eddie McGoldrick and Glenn Helder, but the fans, some are too young to remember that.
That's true. Yeah.
And then of course they got used to
Ian
Wright, Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, Robert Pires, and it's like that we all but we all loved them.
We did. But I do wonder if things go in cycles, because I wonder if by the time Wenger leaves Arsenal, they'll essentially be where he started with them. In the same way that we are pretty much now as a club where we were when Brian Clough took us over. Lower mid-table, championship club, treading water, going nowhere.
Waiting for somebody to come in.
Waiting for a miracle. Now, I'm not saying obviously Brian Clough's walking around the door, and I think people perhaps need to put that to one side, but it's amazing how these things do roll in cycles, I think. And fans perhaps need to appreciate that. Sometimes you get people say, and I guess Coffins must say, I don't know, get back to where we belong. But like, where do we belong? I mean, our average league position after the millennium, if you like, I think is something like 16th in the championship. Yeah. So we're about where we are.
Well, then you can judge it by size of the city.
Yeah, well, that's it.
I mean, in that regard, we should be in the lower half of the Premier League.
Yeah, because you'd look at it and think, how come Stoke and West Brom and Brighton and Bournemouth and Watford and all these kind of real mid-ranking...
Our attendance this season, our home attendance is below Lincoln.
Is that right? Crikey. But that's circumstantial, because the other week when you played Accrington, there was 20,000 there, was it?
Yeah, and we took... what was it? 5,000, 6,000? No, 5,000 to MK Dons.
MK Dons for the cup, which is more than probably
they had.
Yeah.
But, what's the crappiest bit of football memorabilia you own?
I don't know about own, but this is what I owned. I had. It was a car sticker. Now, bear in mind, when I was a kid, as a family, we didn't have a car, so it had to go on my window, bedroom window. It was already a bit rubbish, and it said Nottingham Forest on loan to Division 1 because we just got relegated from the Premier League. And I mean, in retrospect, it's an incredibly arrogant view. We're only going to be there for a year, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I suppose in retrospect, I mean, we were only there for a year. So.
Coventry had our League One tour, or whatever it was.
One tour. Well, it just lasted a bit longer than you'd hoped, But so I had that on my bedroom window, and then we went down, went back up. So so in a way, I was almost tempted to take that off. And I thought, well, I'll leave that on. And then we went down again. So, of course, it's relevant again now. And then we went back up again. Oh, maybe I'll take it off. And then we got relegated again, and we'd never gone back. So I mean, I obviously haven't got.
So
that
it's intermittently crap. At times, it's quite prescient.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but other times it's just
on loan to Division 1, which nobody calls it now.
No. So it's intermittently crap and irrelevant. Yeah. Oh, I like it.
Yeah, and it kind of blocked the light. I had a very small window in my bedroom, so it blocked some light. So it didn't really serve any. Like I said, we didn't have a car, so it's a car sticker for a family without a car that half the time wasn't even right. So that was. I did have a Brian Roy baseball cap that said Roy 22, and I just so wish I still had that. Because I mean, how cool will I look now?
Yeah, you'd look absolutely amazing.
I imagine.
You look like somebody struggling with life.
Wow, that would be accurate.
Is football the best sport? Last question.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't think of another sport that you have this. I absolutely love cricket, and I'm a really, really passionate fan of cricket, and I go and watch lots and lots of live cricket. Probably watch as much... Well, I watch more top tier sort of live cricket than I do football, in the sense because I go and see test matches and stuff. But there's nothing beats the buzz of a football match. And there when you're live, and that kind of the feeling of going to watch Forest, and it's very quickly punctured by a disaster normally. But yeah, there's nothing near it. I think part of the joy of it is. It is so widely watched, so there's a lot of camaraderie. When you go to a new job, a lot of people, who do you support, and that kind of thing. It's a bit of an icebreaker.
It's the first thing people ask you.
Yeah, and then so there's that. I guess from a broader appeal, the rules are so easy, anybody could watch it. So when it is World Cup time, you do get people in the office who'd never watched football suddenly interested because what are Costa Rica like? I've got them in the sweep. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with football, but equally, sometimes it's easy for us to just sit there and moan about football. But if you don't like it, don't watch it. But we still go, so we must still like it.